Yo,
Hey.
wish we were. I'm sorry. Rolling a little late here again. Per usual, Tierney apologizes. She was just very
No,
busy,
it's not
and
me.
I'll take the blame though. I get it.
No,
All on
as
me.
anybody who actually knows us knows, if we are late, it's not me.
Yeah, right.
It's you
I
every time.
I'm fine taking the fault.
Chad
That's
got
what we
really
do.
sucked into the whole. Oh goodness,
Unbelievable.
he got sucked into the
Unbelievable.
whole like looking up fastest people of all time, and
Not
then
one of them,
looking
by the
up
way. Sadly,
like the newest ones and all this stuff, and then we get close to Showtime. It's like, oh crap.
there's a man from Botswana can apparently really move. So that's encouraging.
No, Tierney is probably one of the most focused people of all time, and I married a man who
Whoa.
is very scatterbrained. So
Scatterbrain. What? Hold on. Why are we just?
in ADD, it's like the ADD.
Why are we just? When did this become a rail on your husband's deal?
Because you were sitting there looking up all this information on track runners instead of getting us going. But anyways,
And if we're ever at a bar out of town and it's
Trivia
a
night.
trivia night, and they're like, "Who's the first person to ever break the 100-meter?" It doesn't matter. We're not 10-second 100-meter dash. We're not talking about elevation levels.
Mm-hmm.
Who is it?
Jim Hayes.
Actually, I don't remember. Jim Hines.
Hines. It's close. Dang.
Jim Hines, 9'9", 1968. That's free game for everybody out there. What a game I wish we had another chance at. We're going to talk about today. As always, thank you for joining. I am Chad Smith.
I'm Tierney Smith.
And this is the Voice of College Football at Oklahoma page. And we stream every Monday live. We try to go post-game when we can. Did we send our family our link?
I don't know. We're just here for it.
And if not, you'll see me looking down for a split second here while I do that. What else do we have? Can you help?
So we are live every Monday at 7. Oh, that was a stutter. 7 p.m. for the Sooner Smiths live show. Josh is live every Tuesday and Thursdays for his Oklahoma Voice of College Football live on Tuesdays and preview shows on Thursdays. We all try to hop on post games if we can. And then Sundays, Josh has been adding even more content, going through different breakdowns and just, more level-headed, if you will, when you come to Sundays. So lots of content. He's also putting out lots of extra videos whenever there's breaking news and other fun things like that happening. So Josh is really the man here. We're just his extras. So he's just really fantastic. So give him a watch as well. If you have not already, we would love for you to join and be a member of the Voice of College Football Oklahoma. You can go to the main page, click join. It should take you through our 3 different memberships, with the one starting as low as $2.99 a month. All the proceeds go towards us and creating more content so we can keep that flowing for you guys. And then last but not least, I believe you want to check out our merch shop. We can go to www.vocfb.com/shop. You can get Zeno Zone gear. You can get tumblers, which my husband has one, so I'm going to grab it. Ta-da! As well as koozies and hats and things of that nature. So also a way to show your support for us as well. My parents were wearing their Zeno Zone shirts at the last game, so they're very proud of their grand dog.
This is us right here, right?
That is us, yeah.
Where'd all the Zeno Zone stuff go?
Oh, that's just the basic Voice of College Football. You have to go to Oklahoma.
Oh, teams. Oh, there we go.
Mm-hmm. There you go. And Chad wore his Baker SEC shirt.
It doesn't have Baker on the back, but I'm going to try to show them. These ones are pretty sweet. These things are pretty awesome. Check out this Baker shirt, by the way. I didn't think we were going to do this, but I think this one's pretty cool. Hopefully everyone can see this.
I'm biased to my... You had to put it to the stage. I'm biased to my dog things, of course.
Zeno Zone, for those wondering why the ponies are brown, it's copyright stuff. You can't just rip.
Can't rip the white ponies.
Check out this. First off, you got the awesome Voice of College Football Oklahoma logo. And then look at the Baker planting the flag in the SEC. I mean, that's just a cool design. Yeah, I like it a lot. Another Zeno Zone support if you want. Got some hats, white Voice of College Football shirt, got a sweater, sweatshirt. So pretty cool stuff. I thought we got Rodney Anderson for a sec to model for us. Some mugs, another tumbler, koozie. Koozie's pretty cool. Anyways, yep. Let's get started, I guess. Unfortunately,
shrink us.
What'd you say?
Shrink us.
I am going to. Sorry, just getting this right. Unfortunately, we have to talk about a game that was not fun to watch. But got to take the good with the bad, I guess, when it comes to OU Texas. Oklahoma loses 23-6.
Yeah.
I guess where do we want to start? Offense, defense, just overall thoughts of the game. Let's start, I guess, with defense because offense will probably take longer to get through naturally. Man, it's one of those things where like you hate being super critical because it's like the only reason you're in the game again is because your defense. You hate, but it's also I think if what they have shown us throughout the first 5 games, which if you listen to a couple of our shows, I've said before that I think a little bit of that was inflated by the competition. Some of that, the competition we played, it looks like the Auburn offense and Michigan offense wasn't a lot to write home about, although I still think those are good wins, especially in the context of the game. And at the time they were. There is some work. I think what upsets you is that, the tackling wasn't as good as it usually is. Robert Spears Jennings is one of the best tacklers we have on the team. And, he just missed a couple key tackles that normally in throughout the year he hasn't missed. I don't know if people caught the game day rewind or not the game day that Oklahoma football puts on, game day breakdown maybe, with Brent Venables and
what is that called?
Brent Venables and Toby Rowland.
I forget what
But
that's
it
called.
is, I'll look it up real quick. But it was really good. He goes through and talks about a couple plays. He talks about, why he thinks they struggled and missed a couple of stuff. He mentions, and we'll get to some good things too, but he mentioned some players that did very well. Sooner
I'm
football.
because
My bad.
a lot
Sooner
of your
football.
recents are Usain Bolt.
There's a clip of Usain Bolt when he was like 17 racing, and it's
That's
it's
funny.
awesome.
I
Because
told y'all
the announcer's
what
like,
he was looking at.
the Jamaicans feel like they have good promise in their young sprinter Usain Bolt, and I was like, God, I guess they called it there. But
Definitely.
anyways, it's just
We
Sooner.
digress.
It's just called Sooner Football with Brent Venables, and it's on the Oklahoma Sooners YouTube page.
Easy to remember.
It is awesome because he breaks down like 3 plays too, and you hear it like how his mind works, and it's just like you realize how much these dudes know about football.
Oh, it's so fascinating.
You're just like, well, okay.
Well, I commented back too. Who was breaking down some stuff today?
Stacey
and
said I watched it.
Keanu
Reagan,
something like that.
Yeah, Reagan.
I mean, and as a female, like obviously I didn't play football except for my 1 year flag football where I was basically your MVP, but I never obviously got to a level like that to be able to see that type of breakdown. But it's just so fascinating to see how it works, and it's fascinating to hear Brent Venables or like really any coach when they start talking about that in press conferences or breaking down film. Your dad even, I'm like, wow, like that's so impressive. So it's very interesting for me to hear, just because I just watch a game like, hey, he's open. Hey, he's not open. And so like actually seeing the schemes behind it, just real fascinating.
Yeah. So anyways, we look at a lot of the film and stuff that came out. It's interesting that the different breakdowns you can give. I think what is on a lot of people's minds is the drive you give up, the touchdown, and obviously the field goal beforehand. You hate doing that. You got to get off the field whenever it's third down. We had been good at that all year. Texas had been not great at that. Yeah. And that's certainly something that is fair to be critical of. It's fair to say, you as a defense, you cannot allow them to convert 3 straight, third and long, third and like 20 something, third and 12.
Plus. It was like almost third and 10 was every single third down they did.
But you're there, and it's one of those things where it's easy to pick out the drive because it was the only drive, and it just so happened to work. Like it's one of those things where if you have any sort of offense on the other side, it's not that you're upset about. It's not that you're not upset about it, but one drive and giving up 7 points isn't going to kill you.
Right.
It's one of those things where our defense is having to play perfect again, reminiscent of last year, and really of 2022 to even win a game. Or we just yesterday, at least as it looked, with what Saturday. We had out there. What? Saturday, yeah. Oh, yeah, Saturday. It just looks like we don't have a chance. Since then. And I am, I think the defense is not as much of a concern for me because I don't think it's a talent or scheme thing. I think they just had an off day, and I think that Sark did a good job of scheming up a lot of one-on-ones, and their guys can make people miss or struggle with that for whatever reason.
I think you can take, take solace in it, that their off day was still good enough for Oklahoma to win.
Yeah, I mean,
it was. Yeah. I mean, they gave up. Really, that's the only drive they gave up. The next touchdown was after we turned the ball over on downs. When we turned it over the first time, we held them to a field goal, which they missed. So I mean,
this is how our offense started the game. I think it's important to point out. They start off 4 play. Texas goes 4 plays, -1 yards. Texas goes then 3 plays, 0 yards. So in 2 drives, Texas has got a net -1 yard of offense.
Right.
then
in
you
those
go.
drives, we drove the field, should have
Yep.
scored a touchdown, but we missed Burks, wasn't it?
Mhm.
Like he was open,
Yep.
settle for a field goal. The next time we get amazing field position, they punted it. We got just a little pass. Well,
Mhm.
thanks to Tanga, got it around like the 35 and ran about 10 yards, about the 45. So you have every opportunity to score again.
Yeah.
And I don't even think we kicked the field goal then.
Nope.
No, like we punted it.
We field goal our first drive, and then we go. So we hold them to -1 yards, and our offense turns that -1 yards and only beats them by 10 total because we had 11 total yards that drive in between with a punt.
So it just was like, to me, whenever we had that good field position on our second attempt of the game, that's when we should have gone up by 2 scores. It should have been like, oh, this is perfect position. Let's go get a touchdown. We're up 10-0 quickly.
Yeah, you're on the you're on your own 46.
Right. And when
on the OU 46.
And when that happened, I was like, I don't like this. Like, I don't like this vibe here.
So then you keep going to the second quarter, and it's, again, we hold them to a 7 plays missed field goal. So literally in the whole first quarter, they have 21 yards of offense and 0 points, and you're up 3-0. That's not good enough. I mean, at the end of the day,
not good enough
and
offensively.
It's offensively, yeah. And then you go, you start the second quarter. You have a 6-minute drive, 12 plays, 40 yards for another field goal. Then they go 12 plays, 75 yards in 4 minutes 40 seconds for a field goal. So it's 6-3, and they have like 90 yards of total offense through 2 quarters. I mean, it's just, then we throw an interception, then they go 1 play for -1 yard. I mean, it's like stuff like that you're so confined in like the mistakes that you can make because you can't do anything offensively. And it's just, we saw it last year. It's like you go down 6 points, and I told T, like, during the game, it's like, this looks like 2024 again. Because it's, once they got to 13, it almost felt insurmountable. And once they had the punt return, it was like, well, this game's over. And the punt return obviously shouldn't have counted, but at the end of the day,
it did.
If you're one yelling about what refs did, you lost the game, and we did. And I still think, we could beat them. I don't think they're a better team than we are. I just think that Mateer was rusty, and we'll get to, his play a lot.
Right.
But, there was just stuff about.
I think they were at 100% the better team Saturday.
Yeah.
I mean, they were 100% the more fired up team, the more energetic team, the sharper team. And they were the better team on Saturday. That doesn't mean I think they're the better team overall. But they were Saturday, and that's really all that matters, You're
right. That's all that matters. It doesn't. And the defense has 1 sack. BV chalked it up. He said that there was about 10 that they were right there for, and they had 12 tackles for loss for like -40 yards.
That 1 sack was Armis Thomas getting held.
Yeah, getting his clothesline, his arms right around a face mask, right in front of the ref. No call, just watches the whole thing. Whatever.
Very impressive by Armis Thomas.
And impressive by Arch to hold on to this freaking football. I wish he'd have let it go, but good on him. And I'm not one of those that is going to be freaking out about, and I don't know if maybe no one is, and I'm just thinking this, but there's people that are just worried about our defense, and it's like, dude, they played a team that has talent out there that knew we couldn't do much on offense, and you got to give Arch credit. He made plays. It's not like he wasn't amazing the whole game, but he made great throws. And I said it on our show Monday that Florida could have had like 12, 13 sacks in that game. They're lucky the fact they only got 7 was only because Arch was able to get out of the pocket and scramble. Like, he's good at that. And to his credit, he made 2 throws. He made that throw on the sideline on 3rd and long, was just it was an amazing throw. I mean, I don't, could he do it consistently? I don't know, but it doesn't matter because he did it then.
He did it Saturday.
And so, I mean, sometimes you're going to get beat by really great plays on the other side. That's not an issue. I mean, that's not.
Which you said that was a play that Venables broke down too, and said that was a Taylor Wine error, and he hasn't had that error all season. Something
like that. Yeah, it was one of those where when he flushes out to the right, they have a backside pressure, and you see Halton almost get there, and he's like, Taylor Wine's supposed to be a couple yards off the line of scrimmage, and for whatever reason, maybe it's Taylor Wine, the end right there, I believe it was Wine, but he like floats back for some reason. He hadn't done it all year. If he stays where he is, it's a sack, and he doesn't even get Arch Manning doesn't even get a chance to throw the ball, but he floats too much, and he doesn't have by the time he starts coming forward, because if the quarterback gets out of the pocket, he's supposed to just sprint right to him if there's no one else in the flat. By the time he decides to do that, he's floated too much, and Arch could make the throw. And it's things like that, the little detail stuff that we just weren't sharp on. And they had mentioned that he had mentioned about just little things, little mistakes they made this game that just hadn't even shown up in film or practice.
The RSJ missed tackle on the check down pass.
Yeah,
it was a 3rd down around midfield, I believe, and they would have been punting it.
But again, how nice is it for Sark to scheme up something that, hey, look, if it's not open deep, you just give it to your guy give it to Wisner. The way Oklahoma plays this is going to be a 1-on-1, our running back against the safety. We have to make that guy miss if you can. And he did. We get 1-on-1 with their safeties, And I'm so sick. I see people like, oh, you never played football. Deion Burke. Well, I guess we're not on the offense yet, so I shouldn't be talking about that yet. But I'm getting a spam call in the middle of our podcast. At the end of the day, for me, on the defense is you gave up 16 points. You gave up 300 yards of total offense. That you should win every single game you do that in. There's not a game Oklahoma shouldn't win giving up 16 points.
Even if you count the special teams, there shouldn't be a game Oklahoma shouldn't win giving up 23.
No. And our co-host Josh always has pointed out that I don't know if a team can score more than 20 on Oklahoma. The problem is I don't know if we can score more than 20 on every defense we're going to face now. I guess, defensive line, I thought they played solid. You give up 12 tackles for loss. You have a sack. You got pressure on them a lot. You would like to see him close more. I mean, R. Mason Thomas has Wisner wrapped up in the backfield. Again, it's one play. They're going to happen. But like those things, you got to make those plays in this game.
Right. And
he,
it
was third and long. And he missed it.
The running backs were they're bouncing right off of us. That we haven't seen that all year. We've been taking people down, and it's frustrating. But also, I wish we could see that from one of our guys. But
I think like you said too, like you do hate the fact that you're listening. I like listening to Ted and Gabe or Teddy and the radio crew during the games just because I like hearing their perspective during it. And he had mentioned that when they came out, they were just super flat. Texas came out with a big boom box and they're listening to little bit like Gabe had said it was like Lil Boozy set it off and they're getting hyped down there and our guys are just silent and they're walking out barely.
Halftime.
Yeah,
as if
coming
we were
out of
down
halftime
by like several scores when we were actually up.
It's like, dude, you're winning the game. Like they have to come beat you this half. And we'll get to a lot of attitude stuff too on a couple plays that happened. But
one thing too, I did want to shout out the defensive line. I want David Stone and Jackson coming in on the offensive fourth down just to hit some guys and move people over so we could get it.
Yeah, that was pretty sweet. That was pretty sweet. I think offense is the more fun discussion point. If we think of anything defensively, like this is our show, we can talk about it then. I don't know anything else that I would point out. I thought that the corners played well. They had one bust. It's one of those things where if you listen to my dad always talks about Coach Smith that's in the chat had said our one weakness is that we sometimes miscommunicate on the backside. On the back end, and lucky enough, we've been so good with pressure up front, the quarterbacks don't have time to get to it. And he's like, that's going to kill us in one of these big games. And what do you see? Kendall Dolby, and they just let the guy go right between them. And I was hoping that would be the play they break down, but I get they don't want to.
Well, that's another
because they're
thing,
highlights. But
though Teddy had mentioned, he said, I thought they're getting in the call late. Turns out, though, when you're watching it, they're not letting us sub. Like Texas is subbing in, and they're not letting us reciprocate sub before the refs moving up the ball and letting them.
Yeah, there was something like he was saying that you're supposed to get a beat to get set whenever you sub in, and our guys were like getting in barely on the ball, and they would just drop off. Or sometimes we're like barely even in our position, and the refs off the ball and they're snapping it. And it's like, dude, I mean, where Texas is barely jogging off the field and they're giving them all the time. But maybe it's one of those like when you lose, you really notice those things, and when you win, you don't. Maybe that happened to Texas a couple of times too, and I don't notice it. So. It's just a thing where I am not, like the loss overall to me, this was the first one where I am that I'm like actually concerned about it. I don't want to say concerned, but like you're like, man, like that, this is bad. Like last year we had no chance to beat them because we don't have any of our players. People don't like to hear that, but it's just the truth.
Right.
2022, you have Davis Bevel, you don't have Dylan Gabriel. You're not going to win that game. The one year I'd always said the one year we actually had all our full tool belt, we beat them and with Dylan Gier in 2023. And this was the first year that we came into the game with all of our tools and we lost. One of them,
exception of a few linemen, but overall,
one of our you can talk about John Mateer's hand, and we'll get to that in the offense, but it's the first year where we just didn't beat them. They were better than us Saturday, and that's tough because I think we're a better program and team than they are. But, that's all words. It doesn't mean anything if you don't win the game. So, in terms of defense, though, I mean, I'm still encouraged. We still have the number one total defense in the country, even after playing Texas. We still have, we still have it here. We're still ranked first in total defense. We're ranked second in first downs allowed. We're passing yards allowed and scoring defense in the top 10 and passing efficiency defense and rushing defense. Our defense is really good. Our offense might be another story. There is be on the lookout for our run game. We're averaging 2.1 yards a carry against Power 4 teams. There in 2018, Kennedy Brooks averaged 8.9 yards a carry. I looked it up today. He averaged like 7 his entire career at OU. He had like 1,300 his senior year. That's 7, more than triple what we averaged as a team this entire season.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where the what is going on in terms of like, I'm not going to do scheme and stuff. I'm not X's and O's guy, but I do know one thing: the attitude's not there up front on offense. So just moving, I guess, to that side of the ball while we're jumping around. Yeah, they got problems. John Mateer, I guess everyone wants to talk about if he's going to come in or not. To me, it's not even a question. If you're a Heisman contending quarterback, that's the best player on your team and been the only reason your offense has had any sort of life, says he can play, and the doctors clear him, and your own medical staff clears him, you play him. All of this hindsight, 2020, brilliant minds that just knew not to play him and knew we were going to lose anyways. Maybe I'm hoping you're cashing in your $1 million check because you mortgaged your house on the bet.
Also, please send us the receipts.
Send
us your tweets, Facebook post proving that was right.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where, I mean, it's just such an obvious decision that you play him if he's able to play, that it's just, I get everyone likes to have the hot take and like be the one that like, oh, I was the smart one. No, that's not a smart. That would be a dumb. Like I said it after the game. That's a objectively dumb thing to do. Mm-hmm. If your best player is able to play and you don't play him, that's stupid. You don't need a big brain take about something.
Right.
It's my favorite thing to ever say.
I was talking to one of my bosses today about it because we were talking about the game, and he kind of said the same things. Like maybe like we should have played. I was like, I played Hawkins. Like I disagree. I said yes. Like I was like, my take on it is regardless of when Mateer comes back, he hasn't played a football game and probably has barely practiced in 2.5-3 weeks. Mm-hmm. Basically, probably didn't even for 3 weeks going back. He hadn't played since the Auburn game, so 3 weeks from then. Barely practiced, probably hasn't really thrown as much as he could. Like, yeah, he's going to be rusty. It's like, so you could start Hawkins and definitely give yourself a better shot of losing, which, I mean, I know we lost anyway, but we're looking in hindsight, like before. And then you bring back a Mateer. Now he's 4 weeks removed from ever playing, and now he's rusty. Now you probably definitely get yourself in a bad position to lose South Carolina. Mm-hmm. And now you're potentially 2 losses in, and now it's, do or die. I said, I get why you play him for the reasons that you said, on top of like, yeah, if he's rusty, if he mentioned himself, he just mentally wasn't right. His eyes weren't right, which comes with playing in games, comes with getting into the flow of the games. Again, like I always mentioned, I was a shooter all through college and high school with basketball. In the first few games of the season, when I wasn't used to being in the flow of the game, my shot was off. It took me a while. So it's the same thing with any sport. And yeah, I'm not going to sugarcoat. He sucked.
Yeah, he didn't play.
He did not play well. It was the worst game he played all year.
It's probably the worst game he's ever played in college.
Probably. And my thing with that is like, great, it's out of the way now. Yeah. Get it off. Like, you know how your thumb's going to work. You know how the game's going to go. You're back in the flow. You were embarrassed. Let's put it that way. Mm-hmm. Great. Go out there and play. Like, go play free. Go run free like you did against other games instead of being timid. Stop, thinking about passes, which I mentioned in our post game. I've never seen him hesitate. And he hesitated so hard on so many of those. And so, you know what? Like, great, and so I'm excited to see how he bounces back against South Carolina. Hopefully, I don't think, again, we're on the same boat. Like, no, I'm not panicking yet. It's one game. Ohio State lost to Michigan, which was a way worse loss last year, and they go on to win the Natty. Well, and
the bettors aren't panicking. We're like a 5-point favorite against South Carolina on a road game.
5.5, yeah,
something like that. Now. I mean, it's still a really good team. There's Texas, I think, will figure if they continue to improve on offense, they're going to be up there with anyone else in the SEC as well. They have a really good defense, right? They have
and here's the thing, and like I do think Texas has come, like they've got a little more together. They knew that their backs were against the wall because they already have their 2 losses, and they have goals too. Like Texas is still Texas. They still want to make championships. They want to make playoffs. So they knew this was like a do or die situation. So yes, they came out with their head on fire and they played better. Like, all the way around, they had the better game, and I just my biggest thing is too, like, if you said we should have played Michael Hawkins, even knowing that Mateer was ready to go, please send me your tweet. I would love to say, oh, good call, But even then,
though, it's stupid
like,
because they're like playing him because we're gonna lose. Like that's not okay. I mean, yeah, we could have played. You also could have played our punter at quarterback when we would have lost, and I guess that would have saved Michael Hawkins and John Mateer.
Right.
Like to say play him because we're gonna. That's just say. I mean, I don't understand what the point of that even is.
This is no knock on Hawkins, but it's like he couldn't have done any worse. I saw him give up 3 turnovers in 5 minutes to South Carolina last year.
Yep. All right.
Like, sorry, yeah, like. yes, he maybe could have. And regardless, it's a moot point. We played Mateer. We had a crappy game. Offensively, all the way around, not great. Defensively was good enough to win, and we didn't win.
Yeah.
So great. You move on to the next one.
Yeah.
You hope Mateer's head is on straight. You hope that continue to hope the thumb is as good as, he says it was. He says physically he was fine, just mentally he wasn't prepared. Great. Mentally, hopefully now you've gotten all your yips out of the way, if you will.
And I'm not, like, he'll say he's fine. Anyone that's watched actually all of his games and actually watched him play, he was not totally fine. He was guarded when he ran, especially early. It was almost like he was trying to make sure when he got tackled, he didn't fall on his hand. I am not, but at the same time, I'm also one of those, like, dude, if you play, you got to make the plays. You can't play timid, because otherwise you are hurting the team. But, was he? I mean, it's fairly clear that he was not the Auburn John Mateer that we saw, even after the injury happened, funny enough. But, you got to learn from it. The problem is this: John Mateer and the defense, all giving up the drive, all of that is moot, because we have an offensive line at Oklahoma, of all places, that can't run block. We have an offensive line that Derek Simmons was playing the best of any lineman we had, and he goes out 20 plays into the game because we can't get a push in the run game. So we're all piled up in the middle right by each other, and bodies fall over and roll, and he gets rolled up on after the play's dead. Because at Oklahoma, for some reason, we can't push guys off the field, off the line of scrimmage. Now, I know that the comeback to that is, Texas's defense is really good, and we're going to go from a top 5 defense, or one of the best defenses in the country, to the number 73 defense. I get that, but it's still an issue because our SEC defensive linemen up there that we can't push off a ball.
That's what I was about to say. And let me tell you, every team from here on out is going to have a good defensive line.
Every one of them, and it's not going to get any easier. And the problem is, you're going to face the best one, better than Colin Simmons and Dylan Stewart. And he's a true sophomore, and he's going to be there next year. There's not in 46, the other guy, the whatever the dude's name is, leads second in their team in sacks, second in their team in Brian Thomas Jr. is second in their team in sacks, second in their team in tackles for loss. Like, those guys are just as good as what we saw on the edge, at least. They don't have the guys in the middle, but it's one of those deals where,
I swear to God, if we have to have Kanik blocking.
No, I mean, we're getting to what they should do what they should do on offense in terms of spreading it out. I mean, it's stupid. This is where, like, I know that the coaches know, obviously they're geniuses in the sport. Like, that's how you get to that level. There's too many smart and intelligent coaches that try to get to that level that don't. You cannot get to that position. Like, I can talk to my dad knows more about defense than anyone I've ever met. And that includes college analysts. Like, he would talk circles around anyone I've ever met about defenses. Coached for 30 years. He just would. And he's always like, think how good the dudes that pay millions of dollars to do this are. I mean, like, it is not even a question how much they know. What is a question? And what I would like to ask them. And I know the whole just asking question things in life is, like, all in vogue right now. I would legit love to ask Ben Arbuckle. Like, look, when Gabe Ikern and Teddy Lehman can see things on just game film, not even the coaches, all 22. Like, when we go 3 wide, and you're Anthony Hill, arguably the best linebacker in the country, has to go out of the box almost like to where he's not even a factor in the run game, and we do it 11 times. I would do that until Anthony Hill was forced to come back in, and they had to put a different dude out there in the flat. You find out where they get how to put their best players in bad positions, and you just abuse them on it until they adjust. We do it 11 times. And by the way, every run play that went for positive yardage, or at least more than 2 yards, was out of almost I'm pretty sure exclusively the 3-by-1 that we ran. So I just think of that. I look at that and I'm like, if I'm strategizing an offense and I see that their best defensive players going out into the flat area or the flat zone or whatever he's doing, and not involved in the run game, and I'm struggling to run the ball, why don't I make it easy on my offensive linemen? Instead, we're lined up in 12 personnel trying to have Kendall or Caden Helms, who's coming off injury himself, trying to block a defensive end that he can't block. It's like, that stuff is what's frustrating, because it's things that you're just like, our guys are struggling to run block. But now you're also setting them up in a position that makes them struggle even more.
Right.
And your job as a coach is to do the exact opposite.
Exactly.
And that's where I have legitimate questions where I'm just like, dude, I don't get it.
Right.
How is this what we're doing?
And my biggest thing is, like, you have to play to your strengths.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and so to me, you can't make somebody do something that they're either not built for, or they don't understand, or that just isn't going to work for them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think all the time, like, for those of y'all who don't know, I'm a speech pathologist, and, like, if I see a kid trying to learn something, and if I know they're not a learner of this way, I'm not going to try it that way.
Right.
I'm going to try it a different way. Or I know, like, with myself playing sports, my coach, as a 3-point shooter. They're not going to be like, all right, Tierney, you got to go to the block every time, do some post moves. Like, you wouldn't be setting me up for success. I would.
Yeah.
That would be so bad. But they're going to set me up like to come off screens, like from around, NBA range and a little bit below. Like, they're going to find ways to get me open that way. They're not going to say, all right, Tierney, like the play calls for you to be down low, so be down low. Like, that's not going to help anybody. So that is a little bit strange for me. Like, that was something that was strange to it, but it seems like we try to like force a lot of things.
Yeah.
When it just, and I don't know. I'm not going to pretend that I know. It's hard. I mean, again, I've already mentioned I'm a female who didn't play football, so I can't pretend to even know anything. But I just know from a sports perspective, if somebody, you just don't set up your players to fail, or you don't set them. You set them up for what they're good at.
Yeah, there's a lot of blame to go around on the offensive side of the ball. I think that there are. I don't understand. And again, a lot of this is just me listening to people that know more about it than I do, and also just watching it by just like everyone else can do. But I've never seen an offensive line that comes off as measured and as tame as ours. And I think that isn't. You wonder, is that coached? Is it attitude? I don't.
One thing you mentioned was when
I'm good. That's the point I'm getting to. Don't take my point, because I want to get to it, because I'm about to rant.
Okay, I'll shut down.
What I am upset about is you have a quarterback that just came off injury. He is the heart of your team. He's the leader of your team, obviously. And there's a whistle blown in the first quarter with 7 minutes left, and they come and hit your quarterback low. Texas does, who you should already hate. There should not be any reason for you to need to see something dirty. And I don't think it was a dirty play. I think the guy, you don't see him like slow down and then speed up because he's wanting to hit him dirty. I think it was just he was just in the flow of the play, and he just didn't realize it. But he comes and hit your guy low, and all of our linemen are just looking at him. Our quarterback's on the ground. All four. Drew Samia would have taken his helmet off and swung it at him, Myles Garrett style. Someone needs to get a penalty of 15 yards and start fighting somebody. You have your running back, a true sophomore, that finally gets in someone's face. All of our linemen, though, the 6'5", 330-pound dudes that we have standing there in the back. The one dude we do have, I think Fasusi later on tries to get in between two people. Everyone else just sits there. John Mateer gets hit low in the leg, something that can legitimately have injured him. And no lineman has any sort of attitude or any sort of like grit or edge to them to go up and do anything like that. Those little things are like, they're like little like reading the tea leaves of like the internal, like what do you have inside of you? Like, imagine like a lineman with Baker Mayfield's mind. You think he's going to see that and not be in someone's face? No. And the thing, like, people always go back to 2017 and talk about how good Baker was and all those. Baker was really good. You know what made Baker the Heisman Trophy winner and one of the best ever? He had the best offensive line in the country. He had the Joe Moore winning offensive lineman. Mm-hmm. Okay, and you know what? Those guys weren't the most talented. What they were more that you were not going to bully them. They were beating everybody up. They didn't play around. They wasn't sweet up in the front where they were up there. And now where we're at, it's like, not only do we not fight anybody on the run game, our own quarterback gets cheap shot on. Well, I shouldn't say cheap shot. I legitimately don't think it was like, I don't think it was dirty. He wasn't trying to hurt the guy. But they get a late hit that you could interpret as a cheap shot. And instead you're like, well, let's just, there's no rush over to help him up.
It's kind of a lot of standing. It was weird.
Yeah.
Very weird.
And Texas fans will remember, and I brought it up to T at the time, like, remember the Tennessee game? And at the time it was annoying because it was at a bad time. And you're like, dang, just don't do that right now. Joshua Bates gets that personal foul because he because there was a hit on Jackson Arnold late, and he almost like fights the DN that did it. And at the time you're like, don't do that, dude. It's bad because we had struggled so hard to move the ball and whatever. But now you look back at it and you're like, dude, can we get someone on our team that'll do that? I mean, Eddie Pierre-Louis might, but he can't be on the field for some reason. I don't know who on our offensive line is so good they can't. Maybe Fabechi Wiwu in our center because we don't have anyone behind him. Mm-hmm. But I don't know anyone else that's so good that if they're not showing some sort of fight that you just can't get them out.
Right. And and that too is something that bothers me because I'm not very big. We've talked about, but like, I thought I was big. Like, people, you know what I mean? Like, mm-hmm.
You're feisty out there.
Like, so the thought that like if I see somebody take a cheap shot and I'm not immediately like running to my player or like, get in the way. Like, I don't know. It just kind of blows my mind. It just, yeah. Thank you, Clement. Here.
I haven't gone up.
He says, I used to be a former lineman, not in college, but I would have gotten someone's face immediately. I would take the 15-yard penalty. Like, exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
especially in a rivalry game.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Like, I just.
No, you have to have, and you can't. Yeah, no, I don't know. And I understand, like we said, we're already thin on the line. You get a couple personal fouls. You're kicked out.
Mm-hmm.
We're playing guys that aren't even making practice string out there.
Mm-hmm.
But come on, you gotta. What is it? It's not the size of the dog of fight. The size of the fight the dog.
Yeah.
You're big dudes. Now have a big dog in you. Like, we don't need chihuahuas in a freaking Rottweiler's body. Like, come on.
My thing is, like, that comes down to being like, I don't like that showed me more like than the lack of push in the run game did all season. Like, that little stuff right there, there's no excuse for it. And people might think it doesn't mean anything. Like, that shows everything you need to know of why we can't run the ball. We don't have dogs up front. We don't have guys that want to fight and be gritty. I think Derek Simmons was a little bit, showed me a lot at least. And then he gets hurt.
Unfortunately, got hurt really early.
There's just
Which you better pray that it's not that serious.
And Stacy says, we need to go through the comments. Y'all been great in the comments. Thank you very much. Even if you're saying we're dumb or idiots, I love it. It's fine.
That's fine. You're watching our show, and the more views we get, the more payback we get here.
Yeah.
So
also, I did help. I just like the back and forth.
Sooner Smith and IL.
Yeah, and I like the back and forth. I do really appreciate it. But Stacy says I could hear Chad yelling about the clock management right before half. Yeah, for those joining, I'm a clock management expert. I literally would never make a bad decision in clock management. They just, you do it. I'll do it for field tickets.
As we were late 15 minutes for our show.
I'll do it, but that's fine though. I in game clock management, it's not hard. People overthink it. That's why they mess up in clock management. And we'll go through the final 4 minutes, and I'll tell you the perfect strategy because I have it, like I always do. And we'll get there. Yeah, thank you, Boomer129. Let him cook to you. And for those who don't know, I am facetious in a lot of things. I hope that comes off. Sometimes I think people think I'm just being totally serious all the time.
That you are being a Chad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa.
His name might be Chad, and he sometimes can be a Chad, but most of the time it's sarcastic. He's not being serious.
No, I just, for me, that was a big thing. I hated that whole, we all yelled at it, and I'm sure a lot of people saw it too, but I don't want to get, we can beat a dead horse all we want. Our guys might not be mean enough to beat a dead horse, but it's just one of those things.
That would be mean.
But you need dudes that don't. Anyways, moving on to that. From
psychosis.
Someone had said, yeah.
Psychopathy.
Someone had mentioned. I wish I could find it. You guys need. He had mentioned you guys need. I think it was Tyler that had said, you have to find a running back.
There's a very long. Go down. I think you passed it.
Y'all need. Tyler, Texas fan, by the way. Hey, congrats, man. Y'all won. Y'all were the better team Saturday, absolutely. And. Yeah, my dream is hopefully somehow we meet in the playoff, but right now it looks
Tyler,
like that'd be
our
tough
resident
for both
Texas fan, what's level-headed and reasonable in our chat all the time. What up,
yeah.
Tyler?
Says y'all need to find a running back on the roster that can take some pressure off him. The problem is none of the running backs have anywhere to go. It seems like the one guy that Jay Knott's the one guy you hoped came in and could do that, and he can't for whatever reason. It's like you drop the screen pass right whenever you get out on the field, and it's like, dude, we can't. For whatever reason, you can't just sit there and be so jittery. Like, it's a wasted play.
Right. And people got mad at him for missing that block, which admittedly we all did when watching it. But then you hear back what the play was supposed to be, and Burks was not supposed to cut up. He was supposed to follow his block and keep going to the outside.
Well, I was talking to my dad at the time. When it's like, sure, go be up there and hit him and be aggressive. Guys, go watch the play. Go and write it in slow-mo. Deion Burks is planting his outside foot to cut up the field before he's even outside the tackle. Like, there was no like, Ott hadn't even turned to try to block it. Or even didn't try much anyways, but he hadn't even gotten outside much yet to block a guy. And Burks is already turning and planning upfield to go. Like, I just don't know why. First off, why is he the guy that you choose to do that with? Arbuckle. You have Barnes, who I guess is going to redshirt now because he hadn't played in 2 games, and he's played 4 games this year only. Whatever, but. Get another guy out there that actually can block, or that has shown you he'll block this year. Because if one thing Odd's shown you is that he's not going to go up and just try to be overly unnecessarily physical with someone. But then it's like, all right, well, we didn't do that. He messed it up there. Then you give him a screen pass that's actually blocked up pretty well. You're going to get him one-on-one with I forget their safety's name. He's actually a pretty solid safety, but Ott's known to be laterally quick. He's known to be able to make guys miss in the open field. You'll take the one-on-one matchup with a safety all the time. Mm-hmm. And he just drops the pass. Now, a little bit of that, I think, comes to he's so afraid to make a mistake and get taken out of the game that he's overcompensating, and he's playing too tight, and he's playing to not mess up, and that makes you play badly.
Yeah, you're never going to play good with that mindset.
Everyone's probably been with a coach in basketball in high school that you were so worried. You probably never had this, but you were so worried if you missed the shot, he's going to pull me. So, you finally get an open shot, and you're sitting there aiming it, trying to have perfect form, and you miss it, and then you get pulled, and you're like, man. And it's like, yeah. But dude, like when you call, like you have to make plays, man. Like playmaker, big time players literally do make big plays in big games, like the phrase is. And we don't have that right now. And besides when Mateer was healthy and made a couple great throws early in the year to like Titania or the 8-minute drive against Michigan for the touchdown. But Saturday he wasn't that guy. There are like Burks. I know Burks has the stats. He had a good receiving day. Like that interception at the end of the half was on Burks. If you watch when Mateer lets that ball go from the angle behind him, he throws it right where Burks is running to. He's going to give his guy a chance to make a play one-on-one. I think you're supposed to be one of the best receivers in the country. We hear. You're supposed to be a draft pick, a top 3-round pick. We hear. Go prove it against actually, Malik Muhammad, I think was the one back there, a good corner who you're going to face in the NFL. Show the scout you're going to make a play. He turns the other way. And if you look at where the ball ends up, Josh McCuistion actually goes through it, and he draws a straight line from where Burks is running when John Mateer lets the ball go to where he'll end up if he keeps going to a dime. It was the exact spot where Mateer threw it. And instead, whenever he throws the ball, Burks turns the other way, and then has to circle back. And it's like, what are we doing?
That's where the crowd was.
Yeah, and maybe he thought it was a scramble drill, like he thought John was about to. I don't know, but it's stuff like that. Is like, I think John has gotten to where like his turnovers a lot of the times, like Satania, sit down in the hole. We need the first down. Sit down, and he doesn't. And John throws it to where I think he thinks Satania's going to slow down or stop, and that's why the pass is way behind him, and it gets picked off late in the game. And like I think John is, because he's been in the offense so long, he throws to the spot of where you're supposed. Yeah, exactly where you're supposed to go, and he throws to that spot, and sometimes it's just not there for the receiver yet, or it's not clicked on, and it just hurts him.
Now the Canic one, that's on him.
Yeah, the Canic one was
Satania.
Satania was wide open
on the other side.
And John's not perfect. And look, even then, it's like, I'm not saying, I'm not in the film room. I'm just assuming these things. I've watched a lot of Aaron Murray's breakdowns. There's a couple other former NFL QBs that do breakdowns to John that kind of say the same stuff. But their quarterbacks are going to be, they're going to have a bias to say like this is probably on the receiver, blah blah blah. There's just a lot of things that I think they're just it's like these little things where you saw that it could catch up to you if it's not fixed, and it did this game, unfortunately. Like I was hoping it'd be, Ole Miss or a different team where all of those things that we saw us not be good at, the mistakes that we would kind of make, the bad route running at times, not being able to run the ball at all is always going to be a problem. And that gets to like, what do you do on offense, right? You can't run the ball. There's no traditional run game. I read an article today where it was like the Sooners have to commit to the traditional run game. I would like more than 9 yards of offense in an entire game. You have to do things that you can do, and we can't run block traditionally. So one thing we better not do is ever put 2 tight ends in. You never have John Mateer or Jaron Canic trying to block one of the defensive ends, especially a Colin Simmons, especially next week Dylan Stewart. You got to know that if you're playing Luke Buklinko, the guy, the backup for.
Fun name.
By the way, Logan Hallen, the backup for Simmons, who went out early in the Texas game, he didn't even make the trip, which never a good sign. So the backup comes in, who is a third string. Like you can't, like he did about as well as a third string could do. You would expect. Had some bad reps, had some okay reps.
No offense to UK Dan, but UK Dan normally wouldn't even make the trip. Normally wouldn't even suit out, but because we were so thin, actually had to go out there and play a couple downs.
Yeah, he had to play. Yeah, because Fabechi Weewoo's, I think, helmet came off or whatever. You're just like, what? I mean, I
which is where I go back to again. Like I don't know, always know the ins and outs. I looked at Chad. I was like, are we one injury away, like to have to pull somebody from like the defense?
If our center, knock on wood, knock on all the wood here, but we don't have a backup center. Our backup center is Fabechi Weewoo, who's never played center. But maybe he played it at North Texas a long time ago. I can't remember. But we don't have a backup center right now. And if he goes out, Troy Everett's out for the year. And what's even crazier is like all of our injuries, besides Jake Taylor and Troy Everett, they've all been in game. Like Troy Everett's wasn't, Jake Taylor's wasn't. Jake Taylor's been injured. God bless him. I'm not, injuries are terrible, but at some point, my God, if you can't play, we need linemen in your roster spot. You can't just be a guy that has a jersey on and sweats every game.
Especially now. Yeah,
I mean, like, dude, you got to be, if you can't go, nothing personal, but we got to have guys that can go. So that's going to be after something but that's after the season discussion that they're going to have with a lot of people, I think. There's also
another thing, like, because we talked to Kendall Dolby before the season started, and he talked about, how much they're going back and forth. And we've heard from former people part of the program how hard the practices go.
Well, former parents of players.
Yes.
Players that a lot of people here, everyone would know.
Right. And talk about how hard the practices are.
Not just one parent, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
How hard the practices are. And is that contributing to like, and we heard that earlier in Venables' career. And we heard he's like, taking it back a little bit. Take it back more.
Yeah.
Put all the alignment. I put him in damn bubble wrap dang bubble wrap for all I care. Oopsies. For all I care, like you said, put them in neon and like don't like, you know what I mean? Like shadow guard it. I don't know how to call it, but like, I don't want to say go through the motions because that always has a terrible connotation, but you know what I mean?
No, you can still get reps, but you just don't need to, you don't need to be full pads, full contact. It's not even, it's worse than what, like T says that they said it was physical. The one person we talked to who has a family member, I'll just say in the NFL now, said that practices were almost like they were so hard. It was like he was calling his dad saying, dude, we're so beat up on game day. Like, why do you think that the offensive line is always so injured? It's because they get their butts kicked by the defensive line every practice, and they're hurt by the time they just get beat up so much, and they never get to heal,
and they're exhausted.
I'm sorry, what I would do if I was Brent, my linemen are probably in shoulder pads and shorts this week. I'll let you go through your dummy guards. I'll let you do all your drills, but you're not getting hit because we need you healthy on Saturday. Like, I know practice reps are important, but right now you're teetering on not having almost 6 offensive linemen. Like, that is where, like, you really won't win another game if you have to play true freshmen and guys that are on walk-ons on your team at the offensive line positions. Like that, you're teetering on one of those things. And it's where, like, for me, I don't know where sometimes you got to have an ability to put a governor on the car if it's just too fast for you.
Right.
And right now we're
also at this point
going down the highway way too fast. Yeah.
Like, your conditioning should be there. Your, knowledge of what you're supposed to be there. You just need to be healed. You need to play Saturday. You need to heal up, play another Saturday. Watch film, figure out, what the next team does or where you need to go. But like, you're literally football is literally just going through car wreck after car wreck after car wreck. You're going through this trauma every Saturday. It makes no sense to do it 2 or 3 more times in your practice. And again, we're not saying that that's what's happening. It's just because we're not in the practices. I mean,
it's about as good as you can get. Is talking to people who's
like to tell us things now.
Yeah. Well, you're talking to people who went through his practices, and it's just.
They're telling us NFL practices are basically like walkthroughs now.
They were like walkthroughs at Oklahoma. Is what we're
wild.
And it's like, you can, again, like, we don't care if you believe us. We don't get money from like people giving us money for inside info, but I'm just telling you that's what we were told, and it was that. Boomer 129 brings up a good point that I want to talk about for a second, T, if you want to. Need to bring. Oh wait, not that. My bad, Boomer. I credited you for Adam Carrier. Adam, you're right. We do not have a deep passing threat. It comes to a point where, I tweeted out the video of Burks getting the. It sounds like I'm saying Burks played terrible. He didn't. I just, for whatever reason, these were the 3 clips that I saw that I thought of. But like, Burks catches a pass. He's in the open field. He turns. And I understand if you're just like a high school level receiver, you're not going to make guys miss or whatever. But I saw a true freshman from Miami who has guys flying out of the cameras, out of the screen because he's juking them and taking it 40, 50 yards for a touchdown. 17 years old, and I'm seeing our highest paid receiver get tackled one-on-one by a safety. That's a touchdown if that's D.D. Westbrook. That's a touchdown if it's Malcolm or Hollywood Brown. Touchdown if it's Sterling Shepard.
We saw C.D. break off 5.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not here for all this. That look, he turned around. He had to do a circle and catch it. Dude, you're a Division I, first to be like a top 3 round pick, top 3 wide receiver or top 3 round wide receiver draft pick. You make that play. And it's like, I haven't seen us have a receiver that's taken one to the house whenever they shouldn't have, or whenever it hadn't been perfectly blocked up downfield. Where's the guy that can that can take a hitch route, break the tackle, make the safety miss, and go to the house?
Right. We have a lot of guys that make plays, but we have yet to see a playmaker.
Yeah.
It's almost like the bare minimum.
It's like, and also, like what I was hoping they'd do, like Giovanni Gibson probably get this chance now that he's played in a couple games and he's got his feet under him. You saw the good slant route, the connection there late with Mateer. I want to play Saturday if they need it, where they just say, Giovanni, we're going to run up 3 by 1, whatever, 4 wide, 5 wide, whatever they want to do. But you're going to be 1-on-1, and there's no design to the play. It's hut. I wait 3 seconds, let some stuff develop, and I'm going backside to you, and you just got to be a better player than the corner. We got to have a guy that they have to worry about can do that.
Which or otherwise, everything thrown to him so far.
Yeah.
It's only like 3 passes, but So
he's got everything though, and he made a great throw.
Mhm.
Unbelievable pass to Burks on
That
the
was
reverse.
wild.
But there's no one on OU's offense really besides when Mateer gets going that scares you if you're a defensive player, and that's where it's. Imagine like back in the Baker days or the Kyler, how many weapons you had everywhere. Like, dude, we had like Jeff Bedette would dice people up, and he was like our fourth receiver. Like dudes like that.
So few people probably even remember that.
Yeah, it's just like I there's all this stuff about. There was all those playmakers around him everywhere. Now, some of that scheme or whatever, but we just don't have anyone right now. And maybe I'm being just a prisoner of the moment, and fair enough. And I hope listen. No one hopes more than anybody. I'll come on here and say I'm an idiot. These guys are unbelievable. I'm stupid because that would mean Oklahoma's offense is figuring it out. And if you pair that with a defense, I don't know. We can beat anybody in the country. But we're so far from that happening right now that it's hard for me to envision. And until we get to a point where we have a guy that just, hey, no matter what it is, we're going to you, and we know that you can make the play, it's going to continue to be a struggle. Mm-hmm. Why places like Auburn can have a Cam Coleman and Oklahoma can't find them? Why places like, well, I guess Ohio State's a terrible example because they're literally the best wide receiver school ever.
Money.
But I mean, I don't mind losing out to those guys, but I guess even more so like offensive line wise, like why does Missouri have a better offensive line than us? I know they took Caden Green for all that, but guys, like, I don't know if it's an NIL thing. They don't want the number one. I'm saying it now, and I don't even know who's about to declare for the draft. The number one thing you get in the portal is offensive linemen. Now, the problem is a lot of good offensive linemen don't end up in the portal because their schools make sure they don't leave. But you got to get everything. We are so.
I do think that's
frail
tricky
up front.
too,
It's just
because we are so injured at O-line, and in the day of NIL, you're not going to have deep rosters like you used to. Like you said, Alabama used to be 4 deep of 5 stars. Well, now it's not the case for anywhere because they're just going to go somewhere else. And they're just going to go play somewhere else and get their reps. Nobody's going to really want to sit behind anybody else. Yeah. Maybe more than your freshman year. Mm-hmm. And so that comes down to it. Like it is a different era that teams just aren't going to be as deep talent-wise. Right. So I think our offensive line would be pretty solid if 6 of them weren't injured. Yeah. Do I think they'd be as good as, Creed Humphrey and that group? No. Yeah. But they'd be good enough.
And that's where it's like, man, like we go back to just let them heal this. Like, and I don't know, again, it's all just, it's easy to say when we're just on a show saying it. I get it. But at some point, like health has to be most important. Because if you're not healthy, you don't have your best players out there. You don't have your best players aren't going to play your best.
But also that would be on Bill to potentially say, hey, like I'm getting a lot of heat. This is my job. This is my name. Mm-hmm. I need these guys healthy. Like if you want the O-line to be good, you got to have your dudes, or at least enough dudes to play. So you're not playing not backup practice string guys, or not having to play all the true freshmen. But I don't know. It just
hold on, Tyler. I'm not letting you get away with this. You thought OU would beat Texas. You were saying all last week. I don't feel good about it. I don't think we're winning. Wait, am I misreading this? No offense.
He said it's embarrassing that most people thought OU would beat Texas. You were one of them.
Yeah.
I did.
You did. Yeah, there we go. I'm about to say. No, I remember. Because listen, Oklahoma could have. Listen, I don't know. It's a what if thing. It's what losers say. I don't know, whatever. But
again, and we go back to like, we're not denying that we didn't like. We're not denying that Texas played better than us Saturday. Yeah. So when people are like, "Oh, you have all these excuses," no, like we're bringing up examples of what contributed to our poor play. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yep. So,
like, no one played well, and a lot of people played their worst.
Right. Like, in our thing too, it's like, yeah, we mentioned like the special teams kickoff where there's 4 block in the backs that were missed. That sucked. We don't necessarily say that we win because if that gets called back, not at all. But we can say as a factor, we still would have only been 1 score. Yeah. They actually called the holding on our tight end when Mateer got a run that potentially could have let us tie the game. Yeah. Again, it was a holding, but when you haven't called it all game and you set a precedent, kind of sucked.
When our DN almost gets beheaded by an offensive lineman and still gets the sack.
Right. And when we mention things like, we mentioned like, yes, Mateer says he physically was okay, but like we question, was he really, just because of his hesitantness? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. People are like, oh, excuse me, he said so himself. Yeah, well, he's not the type of dude to go out there. It's like, no, my hand hurt. My hand was hurting. That's why he played bad. That's why he played so bad. My hand hurt. Or like Sark did with Arch. Oh, he got a stinger. That's why he played bad. Yeah. Like, no. Like, that's not the type of person that he is. And that's not the type of people like our coaches are going to be and give that excuse. He's going to say, physically I was okay. I just played a bad game because mentally I was not in it. And that is, that's fair. But us as fans are going to question it because we didn't see the same mentality that we have. Like when you're running, you're more timid. You're hesitant all of a sudden on throwing when you haven't been. You're like, what is it, like double pumping when you don't. Like there's just things that we saw that was like, that's weird. But regardless, it doesn't matter because the game is over. And yes, we did lose. So Stacy mentioned it in the post game. I hope it lights a fire in the butts. Which then people want to come at her and say, we shouldn't have to take a loss to get a fire. No, but it already happened.
Mm-hmm.
So you can either let it define you and you can lose the rest of the season, or you can let it more or less inspire you, light that fire in your butt, and you play harder and you get some wins that you have to have.
Yep.
We're under the impression that we hope it fires them up.
Yep.
We're not the sky is falling yet.
Talk
to us Saturday.
So people have brought up this last 4 minutes. I want to go through that real quick, and then we'll get on to South Carolina. I don't know. I mean, because it's just more of the other than kind of what we thought or what we saw or what we talked about really about what we saw. There's just, I mean, you can continue to go deeper, I guess, on some of those positions, but end of the day, you got to get healthy up front. Your receivers have to become playmakers. And, hopefully your quarterback's hand is now. BV did say he's full go in practice this week in that clip, the show with Roland, that, it was just all muscle. It was just all muscle soreness. Nothing about the bone or the surgery was a problem. So he'll be fine. It looks like it's just going to be, another week of getting it a little more healthy. But I am wanting to just real quick about that, wanting to talk about that last 4 minutes. All right, so it's a low scoring game, right? So it's 6-3. Your defense has dominated pretty much. Texas, besides one drive really for a touchdown, they hadn't. I mean, it's not like Texas was great on offense. I mean, we pretty much held them in check again, kind of like I thought we would.
With the exception of the one.
Yeah, like my score was 27-17, and they got 16 offensive points. Like I thought they would score about a touchdown or 2 touchdowns and a field goal.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that's what it would be. But I also thought our offense would score, but alas. But so the last 4 minutes, right? You're up 6-3. You start out like when you're going into possessions where it's the middle 8 or whatever. So the last 4 minutes, you don't want Texas to get the ball back, right? What is your goal in that drive? It's the first question you should be asking. If your goal is to score a touchdown, then you call plays obviously that are a little bit different than if you're just trying to get in field goal range, because you're naturally having to go further to get into the end zone instead of just like at the 40. What bothers me, it's like they knew they were going to go for a field goal. They were like, hey, let's go up 2 field goals because we don't see Texas scoring on us. As it stood right then, they had struggled to they had moved the ball the drive before, but they settled for a field goal. They hadn't done much other than that. So you still felt good about where your defense was. It's like, let's go up 9-3 into the half. We'll take another point and we'll take a score, and then we'll come out. We feel good about our chances of stopping them, getting the ball back, and then seeing what we do on offense.
Yep.
It's like they started that drive with that in mind, because you start with 4.5 minutes left on the clock.
Was that much?
Yeah, 4.5 minutes.
Oh.
And you take 2.5 minutes to go 25 yards.
Oh.
Yeah, 2.5 minutes to go 25 yards. You're at your own 30, 35, I think. And now you're running. Now, you go to the 2-minute warning because Fabechi had that holding call that took him to the 2 minutes. Then you get that back almost automatically because John Mateer runs for I think 11 yards or something.
I guess my brain just started registering at a minute and a half. Remember the last time I looked at the clock. I was like, oh great, we're making some movements now.
Yeah. So it is. Sorry, I'm trying to find I just clicked the wrong. Dang it. Yeah, you get it back with 4:24 left. John Mateer, first play, he hits Contez Lewis for 5 yards. 5-yard pass. Then you have a negative 1-yard run. Then you hit him John Mateer hits Burks for 10 yards. Then Torrey Blaylock has an 11-yard run with 2 minutes, 31 seconds. You don't snap another play until 2 minutes left really, you only snapped it because Fabechi Rewu false started with 2 minutes left. So in a span, you ran 3 plays in 1.5 minutes with 4.5 at 3 minutes and 30 seconds. So it's like, if you're playing for the field goal, okay, but all of a sudden now you're throwing deep shots into the end zone. If your idea was to say, hey, I want to get close so we can take a couple shots at the end zone, what you want to do is, they're going to play deep. You take a couple little quick hitch routes, quick out routes. You only had one timeout, really, but you knew you had the 2-minute warning coming, which is why I was mad, because really that's effectively a second timeout, an extra timeout each half, because that's going to stop the clock. So a couple quick routes, you can even throw one over the middle, get you extra yardage. Now you're throwing from the 30, the 25, where you can actually be aggressive. You don't have to just throw fades, or you don't have to just throw a rail shot. You can actually get actual concepts in and try to cross receivers and get people mixed up. But they don't do that at all. So now you're like, all right, well, okay, you at least understand the thinking. I can understand the logic of saying it's a defensive struggle. Our defense has played really well. I just want to make sure we go up and get points here. I don't want to risk a turnover, basically what you ended up doing. But instead of that, they don't do that. Now you're down to one timeout and you run another like 20 seconds off the clock without snapping it. And so you snap the ball with let's see, 45 seconds left. John Mateer completed an 8-yard pass to Satania for 8 yards. The next snap was you took a timeout at 10 seconds. You ran 35 seconds off the clock for no reason.
In that time, we made a substitution. So then, of course, Texas makes a substitution, which they're going to slow play, of course. But that goes back to then call the timeout then.
Exactly.
If you want to them slow playing it,
if you want to sub at that time, you have a timeout to do so. Do you think your defense is going to give up a touchdown with 20 seconds left on the clock? That to me is like, it legit doesn't make sense. Mm-hmm. And you know for a fact that if you sub in, Texas gets the sub players in and they're going to go slow. So that's on you if you didn't factor that in to begin with. Like, that stuff should all be planned out well in advance. Mm-hmm. You have, I mean, my dad could talk about it. In practice, you have sections, 4 minutes on 4 minute offense, 2 minute offense, 1 minute, whatever it is, really 2 minute offense, but all that should be planned out. In the 4 minute offense, you say, we have the 2 minute warning here. What plays do we want to run up to the 2 minute warning? Mm-hmm. How many do we want to use a timeout early? I'm always a guy, give me more time on the clock than more timeouts or less time on the clock. More time on the clock allows you to have plays actually develop. Less time on the clock doesn't. And if you don't believe me, that's the exact opinion Tom Brady had, who I'm not the biggest fan of, but some would say he was a good quarterback. I'm joking, obviously he is. But I just, that stuff to me is just you got to have that planned out early in advance. And I don't know if I don't know whose job it is to have that. If he's saying, because one of my train of thoughts is it's not even BV's deal. In my opinion, he has said, Arbuckle, I'm not touching the offense.
This is your
everything offensive wise. When the offense has the ball, is on you. It is not. I don't want to have any say in it. I'm not telling you what you can and can't do. You run your offense. You do all of the timeouts. You do everything. But at the same time, like, clock management is a vital part of any game. And as a head coach, you got to make sure you're all on the same page of what you're going to do. And for me, it was just such it looked like no one knew what the actual plan was. Mm. So that's where I have that issue. Like, I would have used the timeout if I'm going to sub. If I have one timeout in the 2 minute warning in 4.5 minutes, obviously you don't want to score too quickly because you do leave Texas the ball and they get the ball at a half. You can run a couple plays. You bust, and it's dependent on how did the first few plays go. They had some big plays to start off. They had like a 10-yard and an 11-yard run. Mm-hmm. Now you can say, hey, look, I can hold back a little bit. Let's run some time off. I have the 2 minute warning. That's going to stop the clock no matter what. And I have my one timeout coming out of that.
Right. And like you mentioned too, even if you waste that timeout, when we got into field goal range, you can easily stop the clock
by just clocking it.
By clocking it.
Yeah,
you can get your field goal team out there. Boom, you kick a field goal. It's 8.5. It's 9-3.
And then
assuming he makes it. I mean,
which is a good safe assumption. I mean, the dude had assumption with what is he now? He's like, he made 2, so he's
11
for I think
since the miss.
Okay. But I mean, all we can do is assume based on past performance, and past performance, it's a pretty good assumption that he's going to make it. We got to get to the South Carolina game because I'll be quick on that.
Either way, the series made no sense. And as Tyler said, I think that just completely took any momentum y'all had, took away any of y'all's energy, 100%.
Yeah.
And again, so then it comes out to our radio crew saying, yeah, the energy coming in a half's weird. Like, they're acting like we're down when we're actually winning right now, which it's very weird to hear them say that because, like, we haven't had that problem all year. That's something that I've always bragged on OU about is I always like that. Like we talked about, we're up 44-0 on Kent State, and 2 of our linemen are getting each other's face because they're mad they made a mistake.
Right, like that
D linemen, not O linemen. And so, like, that's never a problem. So I don't know if it was just
no. It was Eddie Pierre-Louis and Fasusi. They almost fought each other.
It was a line,
yeah. It was a line. You were right. Yeah.
And so, like, and I was like, I love that tenacity. Like, I love that energy. So the fact that was the case was just very weird. And I do think though that the crowd was weird. Kent State, like the energy was weird. So I don't know if that just carried over into Texas. I don't know. It just doesn't matter anymore. You got to move on.
Doesn't matter. And here's the thing, like you're saying, if there was ever a game in which you should say, hey, guys, you just got embarrassed on national television offense. You didn't score a touchdown. That better been it. Clement Akufo says again, this is what I was saying. Yeah, exactly right. What I should have done is call it your final timeout with 30 seconds, have 2 plays called in the huddle. If you don't have to throw it, you can get a field goal. That's exactly right. What was it whenever they called? What did I just do? I'm trying to see what No, I don't want I'm sorry.
I do like Boomer129. He said, makes you wonder if the advancement of sports science has been more of a hindrance with holding players out versus the rub some dirt in it approach from the past.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not even going to blame sports science. I'm going to blame parenting too on that one. If my bone wasn't sticking out and I wasn't gushing, well, my parents like, you're fine, rub some dirt in it, go.
Yeah, so it was so
I'm hearing these guys have high ankle sprains. I had a high ankle sprain in high school and my junior year in college, and I'm still out there. I'm taped. I have a wrap on. I got some Tylenol. Like, yeah, I'm playing, and again, I'm playing also a sport that you have to go side to side, laterally, back and forth, lots of stopping and going. Granted, I'm not 300 pounds doing that on my ankles, but
so
it's very weird.
At 1 minute, Tory Blaylock had a 0-yard run, right? Say you don't run that, and you run the clock down to 30 seconds, and you call time out there. So it's first and 10 from the Texas 38, right? In 30 seconds, you can run, say you get 2 quick out routes. Now you're at the Texas 28, 2 quick 5-yard outs. That's 10 yards closer. Throwing pass scheme or your pass game from the 28 to the 38 are completely different. And even then, you get a first down there. Now there's probably, say there's 30 seconds left. You have time to just, if you want, you can throw it over the middle. And if you don't, if you complete it, you can get up, spike the ball. It opens up your entire playbook whenever you have that pre-planned and you have it all ready to go. But instead, it's like they were just kind of like, oh, and I know that they're too smart to actually, if you asked them what they were thinking, I'm sure they would say, they might say, look, we wanted Deion Burks to go one-on-one we wanted to give him a play and
not turn the wrong
John
way.
and John threw it where he wanted, or vice versa, whatever it is, they'll have a reason for it. But it's just they're too knowledgeable not to. But it looks like from the outside, there was no real planning or a good idea of what you wanted to do. And for me, it's like, man, I have always, and Tegan to test this for the 5-6 years we've been together. Like I have always been like a clock man, like never take timeouts on a punt, never take timeouts when it's outside a 40-yard field goal. Always take the penalty yards because they're too valuable in close games to have. And the percentages of like a 45-yard punt to a 40 don't increase enough for you to take that timeout off the board for you. But that's just me. I'm sorry, we got to move on to South Carolina. I ranted a lot, but it is OU Texas. I get a pass this week for my rants. Well, T has been very gracious. I appreciate that. You have, as always, right, stats on South Carolina?
I do, but I really feel like, honestly.
By the way, South Carolina game, 11:45 kickoff time.
Is it, I told my husband,
Ole Miss, 11
is it bad
o'clock
that I'm kind of excited for some 11
a.m.
games?
Because it's not bad at all.
I don't miss having them every week. Don't get me wrong. But I would like getting home at a decent hour. I like that we'll get to catch most of the afternoon games. We'll get to catch all of the night games. I don't know. It's just less of a long day.
Yeah.
So I kind of am excited for that, especially because it's going to be an away 11:45 game. So I can just wake up a little later, kind of chill in my PJs and my comfy clothes, and then just watch football all day.
Right.
Fantastic. Boom. Great Saturday. Hopefully a great Saturday.
Hit us with those South Carolina.
So you sent us a meme that essentially shows how even we are as far as teams go.
I made this into a PowerPoint and I didn't have time to send it to myself.
That's okay.
So maybe while you're doing this, I'll try to send it to myself.
But I mean, so one of the things that was highlighted is that we should have a advantage as far as it goes in the trenches when it comes to our defense and their offense. So their offensive line has also struggled. Big surprise there. Where they rank 124th in sacks allowed, so they're giving up 20 sacks, 108th in tackles for loss, 37, 112th in rushing offense, 125th in yards per carry, and 123rd in run blocking, 106th in pass blocking.
Whoa.
So they are struggling very much so on that offensive line. So that should be a moment for our defensive line to be salivating and looking forward to that. Now the issue is you have to contain Sellers.
Yeah.
Homie can run. So if you can contain him and not let him get out of the pocket and use his running game, they've also struggled with their pass game. It's been very inconsistent, been very ineffective overall. Let's see. He ranks, Sellers ranks 91st in passing plays of 10 plus yards and tied for 73rd in plays of 20 plus yards.
Dead gum, you went deep.
So again, that's something that you contain him. The secondary does what it's done all year and contain and not keep too many people open. We should have the advantage there. Now, the problem is they also have a pretty good dang defensive line, especially in Dylan Sellers. Did I say that right? No, not Dylan Sellers. I got Lenore Sellers in my head.
Wait, who are you talking about? Dylan Stewart.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, literally was going through my head was Derek Simmons. I'm like, no, it's a different S. Too many S's out right now. And so they have him, and who is going to block that monster in the best way? I say that in the best way. Respectfully, I would take him on our team in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
I mean, we already have a great defensive line too, but who wouldn't take him? So the problem is, while we, I believe, have that advantage defensively to their offense, I worry about our offensive line against him and what was it, Brian Thomas Jr.
Yep.
So that's where I don't know if you find a way to get him double teamed and just hope for the best. But they also too, their defensive line has actually, if there's ever time for us to potentially get a little bit of a run game going, this could be the time, because they've also struggled with run defense.
Right.
So everybody that they've played has ran for over 120 yards, I believe. So maybe our time has come, baby. Maybe our time has come.
I wish I could get rid of.
However, at the same time, it's just not going to be easy. They got those dogs up front, but I'm cautiously optimistic.
Same. And also, South Carolina.
If we play like we did Saturday, we're not winning another game all season.
Right.
I'll straight up be critical of that. I'll be what's the opposite of Suntime Pupper? Just
doomer.
A doomer.
Yeah.
I'll be a doom and gloomer, but that's just period.
Boomer, funny enough, I actually had high blood pressure Michigan week, so that my doctor sent me home with one of those, what are those called? A cuff, yeah. So I had to check my blood pressure.
Yeah.
I never have high blood pressure either.
Right.
I'm always 80 over like.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't think that Saturday was the norm. I think it was an exception. I think it was an exceptionally bad game. I don't think that's going to be the norm. That is if the offensive line can bounce back. That is to be determined if they cannot. However, I mean, I do think this is a good matchup for us. I do think that we can have the edge here. The problem is South Carolina's defense is dang good at getting turnovers. They have 15 on the season. They had 3 against LSU. They had a fumble, which happened on LSU's goal line, where they were trying to go and score, fumbled it, and 2 interceptions.
Well, what's nice is that we're not an offense prone to turn the ball over.
Yeah, not at all.
T was just mentioning this earlier. I just wanted to at least show it.
So you can see, and the way we played Saturday, ain't no way we're scoring 29.
Nope.
But hopefully. But you can see how close and even that is. And again, we're the away team. It's always hard to go into somebody's house and take a game for them. But I'm excited because maybe I am a pumper in that sense.
And here's the thing too. For me,
this is a good chance for us.
I know Malcolm in the comments was saying the season's over and all that. And listen, I don't know whether or not you truly mean that. You're just joking around. I do think the next 2 games for me are must wins. If you're talking about actually being a playoff team, making it a run at the SEC championship game, all those are still ahead of Oklahoma. What I think a lot of OU fans, and I mean, I'll put myself in there a little bit, are struggling with when they're really thinking about that is it's kind of like last year when we were 4-1 heading into OU Texas, and it's like, yeah, we're 4-1, but like we all see what the issues are.
We all see the issues,
and we all see how bad our run game is right now. And it's like,
talking about last year?
No, I'm saying like last year we all knew our issues.
Oh,
and like this year, it's like
we didn't have any players.
Right, that. But like this year, it's like, man, if we can't, like our run game is such a hindrance on our offensive production that you're not going to go to Alabama and throw it 55 times and beat them. You're not going to go to Tennessee and beat them 55 times and beat them. You just aren't going to be able to do that. And it's like I just don't know if I trust our offense yet to win a lot, to at least run the slate, like and get to SEC title game where you probably can only have 2 conference losses. But the ESPN FBI, which I never used whenever it showed us not winning any of these games, but now I bring it up because it helped my argument. Thinks that we're going to win a lot of these. So we have a South Carolina.
That would be a good chance to.
Oh yeah, chance to 54% chance. Ole Miss basically 50. Tennessee 35. Alabama 23. I'd probably agree that those are the ones that I'm most at Tennessee at Alabama are going to be tough ones. Versus Missouri, I actually like our matchup there. Any team that's run game strong, again, assuming our offense can score. And then LSU were favored as well. So really, of these 4 games, you're looking at if these. Well, I guess technically you'd lose that, but Ole Miss, I think we have a good chance of beating. And if you beat up Missouri and LSU, basically, you're in a good spot. You need to win all your home games and 1 road game to basically make the playoff. I think with how tough our schedule is. Because I'm not saying you don't forget, but don't forget all of these teams besides South Carolina are ranked pretty high actually. Or isn't that right?
I'm sorry, what?
All the teams that we're playing besides South Carolina coming up are ranked after that.
Yes.
Yeah. They're ranked, I think, on the top 20, aren't they, all of them?
Yes.
Yeah. So, like, that kind of, I mean, that matters to the voters,
Mhm.
or to the playoff committee. Also, I will say this. They just fired their offensive line coach.
Checks.
So, I mean, goodness, if we don't get a lot of sacks or whatever this week, that'll be tough. Sooner Cowboys, get that negativeness out of here.
Speaking of doomers.
Yeah, get out of here. Not literally, but I mean, like, just, negativeness. There is, I think I like our chances in the South Carolina game. Let's see, what's a score that you would give?
Can you remember that? I'm not good at scores.
Sorry,
Stop asking me
moving
to
on.
do scores.
I'm not either, but that's in OU needs to play better.
OU needs to play better. And one of Chad's favorite movies.
Oh,
Do you
the
wanna
greatest game ever
mention
played with Shia LaBeouf. It should be
He
one of
mentions
everybody's favorite movies.
he's like overthinking this game and this, that, or the other. It's golf, by the way. And he's like,
Well, we
he
said the
looks at
greatest
him
game
and
ever played.
He's like, you just got to play better.
Yeah, he's like,
Period.
yeah. At the end of the day, you just got to play better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Sooner's saying some things are fat. They're not very. Yeah, they're struggling right now. The coach is firing thing. It's not going to happen in season. So I'm kind of like it's just it's fun to talk about it. But after season, obviously, well, I shouldn't say. I guess James Franklin got fired, but we're just not at that position. Yeah, for OU, it's not.
And also too, after season, if Arbuckle is the guy who's staying, and I like Arbuckle.
Yeah.
He should be able to say who he wants to keep and who he wants to go. Like if he wants to make hires.
Yeah,
that should be him.
Yep.
And I'm not saying he wasn't offered that when he first came. I don't know what he was offered. He may have been happy with who he's going to work with. I don't know. But if he wants some people gone, then we should, and he wants somebody else, then that should be taken into consideration for sure.
Yeah. So, goodness, 8:30.
I know we have Zeno Zone.
We have to get to Zeno Zone. He has a great record, by the way, 23-12.
He's a good record, but he had a bad week.
Dude, all those upsets. You kidding me?
Not a good week for him. Also, this week I did, as requested from some people, he did pick more games this week because I could not narrow it down. There are too many good matchups that I think he picked 7 games this week instead of 5. So you can play along with them when you see the game pop up. You can go ahead and pick who you think is going to be the winner in the chat, or I guess if you're watching this later, you can put it in the comments. But regardless, yeah.
Clement says 27-17 Sooners, and then Adam Carrier.
I would love nothing more
30-6.
30 points.
I would love it. Yeah, that would be awesome. Mateer coming back. Yeah, I think he's fine. Look, he just wasn't himself Saturday. I think it's pretty clear he was nursing, or he was concerned with that. His hand. But if you not happy with Mateer, you might never be happy with the QB at OU. Yeah, dude, he's fine. I know that Sooner Cowboy is upset with him, but I get that people are upset right now, and that's fair enough. And everyone's entitled to their opinion on it, and none of them are invalid. I disagree with it, but
right. And I do think a lot of people, it's easier just to go ahead and be the negative. So if that does happen, they kind of save themselves a little bit of heartbreak. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, I believe it when I see it. I do think this is a good matchup for OU. I think it's when we can win. I'm not going to give you a score because I suck at giving scores. But
also, in Sooners Cowboys, at least from the comments, he doesn't seem like a guy that just wants us to fail so he's right.
Right. They're
like, I can't stand people that just want OU to be terrible just so they can say, like, I told you BB was the worst ever or whatever. Like, that annoys me. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's that way. If you are, I haven't noticed it. So,
chill with us.
The dog picked Oklahoma. Zeno picked Oklahoma. He was wrong. That was one of his 3 losses, sadly enough. All right. Let's get to the favorite portion of the show for everybody. The one and only Zeno Zone. Again, as always, please let us know if you can hear it. And we have it looks like 547 watching. If you guys can just like the video real quick and leave a comment on YouTube, it really does help us out a ton.
Yeah. If you are over watching
awesome.
on X, on my X or Chad's X, please, on Chad's X, I don't like how that sounds. Anyways, hop on over to YouTube. Just give us a quick like, give us a quick comment. That would just mean the world does subscribe to our channel. You can also pick the join button to become a member of our channel as well for as low as $2.99. And and as always, super chats are always welcome. Although we should have answered that earlier but regardless, we'll get better at that.
Yep.
Without further ado, the real star of the show.
All right, it should work. So let me know if you can or can't hear it. He, like you said, he refuses to pick USC. He knows the lore. He knows what happened back in the day.
Like every time I've done a USC pick, he does not pick them. And I've definitely like switched the, like, you know, one time USC is over here, and next one's USC's over here, and he just doesn't pick them.
Mark M saying Zeno doing great. Agree so far. Awesome.
Cheers.
Could have got them all correct. Mark M follows up. I agree. Stacey, you rock as always. Thank you so much for keeping track of his picks and then letting us know y'all can hear it. To all the people commenting, Adam, Boomer, all y'all, thank y'all a lot or Clement, all y'all being engaged in the chat. It really helps the show a lot and makes it really fun to kind of see what y'all think of what we're saying.
And even you Texas fans that decided to spend your Monday with us.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Tyler, always, man. I know that Ghost is a good Texas fan. Tyler, you seem like a good one too. So I know two that I can say are seem like good people. I'm just kidding. But that's pretty much it for our show. But as always, thank y'all very much. We appreciate you hanging out with us. I know that y'all have, choose to do whatever with your time. And the fact you chose to spend it with us is a very, we really appreciate it. And like we always say, hopefully you all are able to talk with family, talk with those you love, and enjoy their company. I hope you'll have a blessed week. And what else? Is there anything I'm not saying? Or
like,
sign
subscribe,
off?
share, all the things to the channel.
Yep. Subscribed, share, all the things. The channel. I almost couldn't say that too. I need my speech pad to help me out with it. Like, subscribe, share. Awesome.
Too far gone.
You guys rock. God bless you all. And we'll see you post game. Josh will see you tomorrow. And then he'll see you Thursday on a preview.
And then
we will see you post game after South Carolina, after a victory at South Carolina. You guys have a blessed one. We'll see you then and then next Monday as well. Bye.
Boomer.